Australian dollar is buying 105 US cents, 80 euro cents and 68 pence sterling. For more on finance now, we're joined by the Executive Director of Investor Relations company Bourse Communications, Rod North. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
And of course the financial situation, we've still all got eyes on Europe. It is all dominating.
Absolutely, and I think the market's really waiting to see what final decisions going to be made there in dealing with that sort of ongoing debt issue, and of course that creates a sort of continued uncertainty in world markets. And it doesn't look as if it's going to be something that's going to be resolved anytime soon. Unfortunately, yet so much is hedging on that, and then that sort of sits in the backdrop of, I suppose, when you look more towards the US, where you've got some fairly reasonable signs of recovery happening there, because the unemployment rate dropped recently below 9%, and then you've got some pretty major companies reporting, and in particular this week we've got some top sort of companies reporting. So it'll be interesting just to see how well they've gone, like sort of Apple and McDonald's, Boeing, Yahoo are all out this week. And I suppose we can't forget that the US economy is the biggest economy in the world, yet most of the focus, I suppose, at the moment is still on Europe. But at the end of the day, if we see the US continue to put in a good performance to start to see sort of glimmers of recovery, I think that's going to help the overall world situation. Of course, it has sort of significant impacts in Australia as well, because we'll see quite a few of those US private equity groups with plenty of dollars and access to cheap funds. I think they'll probably wait until the results of our reporting season, which start in February in earnest, to just see how those companies report for the half year. And I think 2012 probably in Australia is probably going to go down as the year of lots of takeover and M&A activity, I think, for companies that they've seen their share prices drop 20–30%.
Can you tell us about cattle and beef farmers? Some good news there.
Yes, there actually is some good news on the cattle front, and it's a long time waiting in the country.
Good,
the Meat and Livestock Association recently reported their forecasts as saying that they think that the market will increase by about 2.3%, and that will take the tonnage up to about 2.17 million, which is really good news, showing that the seasonal factors and increased size of carcasses is going to be very good. So anyone that's in beef production on the land for 2012 is probably going to do pretty well. And Australia is very much in the spotlight in respect to that for the export side of things. So at long last we've got some good news for farmers.
Well, all that rain last year probably would have helped things as well with the feeds, I guess.
Yeah, it has, and I think there's been plenty of feed around, and of course what we've got coming up in the next few months is a lot of those cattle sales, and I think they'll probably expect to get some record prices, particularly for bulls, when those sales are in sort of March, April this year, and I think that will be a real highlight. And also I think sheep prices have gone up enormously too. It's all get down to that equation of supply and demand, and there hasn't been a lot of supply because a lot of stock numbers have been reduced, and what we're now seeing is demand. So of course that drives the price up.
And what about the Australian share market? What can we expect there?
Well, I think with the Australian share market, it's going to continue to be pretty flat off the Wall Street lead last night. So I don't think we'll have too much action. It's not really going to be until we sort of get the reporting season happening that we're going to really see, I think, a bit more action on that front.
All right, Rod North, thanks very much for taking us through finance.
Thank you very much.
Now, coming up, Egypt's new parliament has sat for the first time. We'll be talking to Ben McQueen from Monash University.